Kamen Rider Ichigo, the first Kamen Rider. Captain America, the first Avenger. Every generation has a great hero, and sometimes that hero is a superhuman badass that paved the way for generations to come. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick, and it's our job to analyze their armor, weapons, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Born to Irish immigrants, Stephen Rogers was born in the early 1900s.
And World War II loomed on the horizon. The young Rogers tried time and time again to serve his country by enlisting in the army, only to be rejected every time due to his frail body and medical problems. God, is this guy supposed to be Captain America or Jack Skellington? Jeez, get this guy a sandwich.
Finally, he was given an offer by Dr. Abraham Erskine, and Steve would finally be allowed to test out into the army, provided he volunteered to test.
Dr. Erskine's breakthrough formula was the Super Soldier Serum. The formula was an astounding success, bringing Steve Rogers to the peak of human physical performance.
Clad in a striking armored uniform and equipped with a virtually unbreakable vibranium shield, Steve was now known as Captain America.
He then proceeded to tear a swath through the forces of the Axis powers, before being accidentally frozen alive in the Arctic for 70 years. Wait a minute, Wiz, wouldn't that have killed him?
Boomstick, it's comic books, it's not supposed to make sense.
Fair enough.
Having returned in the modern era and becoming a quintessential member of the Avengers, Captain America's main weapon is his vibranium shield, which is durable enough to tank hits from Iron Man and even Thor.
Hell, his shield is even durable enough to tank hits from Thanos.
He's comparable to Spider-Man, who survived the entirety of New York City exploding.
He also scales the Doc Ock, who tanked an entire fucking island exploding.
Cap is fast enough to keep up with Spider-Man, who outran Quicksilver, who ran faster than light itself.
Cap, being a super soldier, means he's obviously possesses super strength, super speed, and super durability, even without his shield.
Cap is also worthy enough to wield Thor's hammer. However, this is considered non-standard, and as such, he will not be getting this in the fight.
Cap in the Ultimate Comics is capable of throwing hands with Ultimate Hulk, who can survive a direct hit from a nuclear fucking warhead, which is strong enough to blow up mountains.
However, Captain America is not unbeatable, as while his shield is insanely durable, without his shield he's basically a glass cannon.
Remember, without his shield, he only really has city-to-island level durability.
Regardless, don't ever mess with the first Avenger.
Avengers! Assemble.
Takashi Hongo was orphaned at a young age and was taken under the tutelage of former motorcycle racer Tobei Tachibana, who became his mentor and later coach for his bike racing.
Hongo wasn't just a skilled motorcyclist, but also a genius biochemist. He majored with an absurd IQ of 600, who has worked alongside the genius Dr. Midorikawa in the past.
His extreme intellect and physical abilities caught the attention of Shocker, an evil terrorist organization that planned world domination by using artificially enhanced beings.
Hongo ended up being cybernetically modified by the villains, but Dr. Midorikawa assisted him in his escape before the brainwashing could be completed. As a result, Shocker sent the monster called Man-Spider after them, who ended up killing Dr. Midorikawa. After this, Hongo vowed to use his new powers for good.
Takashi Hongo transformed into the motorcycle riding superhero, known as Kamen Rider, and began his career stomping out evil with his signature rider kick.
God, that's badass.
Beginning with the eerie Man-Spider, his heroic actions would inspire other heroes to take up the mantle of Kamen Rider long after his journey ended, and he would retroactively be known as Kamen Rider 1, or spoken in Japanese as Kamen Rider Ichigo, the legendary first rider.
Now you may be wondering, just how strong is this guy?
Not just does he have the rider kick, he also has the rider punch and rider chop.
He also has the Denko kick, which has twice the power of the normal rider kick.
He's also stated to be as strong as Kamen Rider Black RX, who has the power of the sun, who can also fight Emperor Crisis, who's strong enough to nuke entire planets.
Kamen Rider Black RX can also fight the Creation King, who's capable of blowing up multiple planets and stars at once, putting Ichigo at around solar system level strength.
Once again, thanks to scaling to Black RX, who, with Rodoron, can transcend the flow of time and space, being able to travel freely through time, which would give Takashi immeasurable speed.
Takashi morphs via kinetic wind energy captured by his transformation belt, the Typhoon. Not just does this let him morph, it also gives his motorcycle a power-up too.
Kamen Rider Ichigo's motorcycle is the Cyclone, created by Professor Midorikawa, and customized by Hongo's mentor Tobei Tachibana. It can disguise itself as a regular Suzuki motorcycle for civilian use.
In later parts of the original series, the Cyclone was given wings for gliding.
So no matter what you do, don't ever mess with the original Kamen Rider, unless you want to have your Skull Rider kicked into the ground.
Rider! Henshin!
Alright, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
It's time for a death battle!
What was that? I better go check it out. Hey, you're Kamen Rider Ichigo. I've heard about you. You're the guy who helped take down Shocker. Hey, you're Captain America. You're the guy who helped take down Hydra. Huh. Great to meet a fellow hero who also took down a neo-Nazi organization. Yeah, I've heard stories about you, Steve. Thanks for keeping America safe from Nazis. And thank you for keeping Japan safe from Nazis. Say, I was out here training. Want to spar? Sure, why not? I have time. Alright, then may the best hero win.
Fight!
I can do this all day. So can I!
Rider, kick!
Your shield is strong, Cap, but can it withstand this? Dinko, kick! Come on, my shield can withstand hits from gods.
Rider, kick! Rider, kick!
May the best hero win. Agreed. Time we go all out. Give me your best and I'll give you mine. All right, you got it.
Genko, kick!
Kamen Rider Ichigo, keep fighting the good fight.
You fought well, Cap. You fought well.
KO! Let's salute for our fallen captain.
While Steve was certainly no pushover, Takashi took the edges he needed to win this battle. So let's break it down by a few categories: strength, speed, intelligence, experience, and protection.
Starting off, who is the stronger of the two?
Don't get us wrong, Cap is incredibly strong, especially if we want to compare him to Doc Ock, who survived an entire island explosion. But remember, Kamen Rider Ichigo scales to a guy who at worst can blow up planets. So it's pretty clear cut that Takashi was easily stronger than Steve.
Speed was also pretty easy to decipher.
That's right, Boomstick. Sure, Cap is comparable to Spider-Man, who's faster than Quicksilver, who can move faster than light. But Takashi can keep up with Kamen Rider Black RX, who can transcend the flow of time and space, being able to travel freely through time, which would give Takashi the speed advantage pretty easily.
Intelligence was an interesting category, to say the least.
Sure, Takashi should be smarter in general, but Steve is way smarter when it comes to actual battle IQ, considering he's way more strategic when it comes to overall fighting. Since it ultimately depended, it was basically safe to say intelligence overall was a tie.
Experience was an interesting category too. Don't get us wrong, both are incredibly experienced to the point where it was a pretty close one to call.
However, there was some interesting deciding factors, as when you really think about it, experience really depends on what time point you use for Cap. As if this was not too long after he was unfrozen and joined the Avengers, then Takashi would be far more experienced considering he wasn't frozen in ice like Steve was.
However, if we're using all of the current comics, Steve definitely has way more to go off of, which would probably mean overall he'd be the most experienced.
Ultimately, Steve ended up taking experience.
Okay, but what about protection?
Don't get us wrong, the Kamen Rider Ichigo suit is very durable. The Cap's shield can literally take hits from the likes of the Hulk and Thor, who are way stronger than Takashi, meaning Takashi is definitely not going to be able to break the shield.
So Cat ultimately took protection.
While Captain America was definitely not going down without a fight, Kamen Rider Ichigo's superior strength and speed was enough to edge him out the win.
Looks like America's first Avenger just got put in last place by the first rider.
The winner is Takashi Hongo, aka Kamen Rider Ichigo.